Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLee's Corner. This is a review for the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 6 Reunion Part 2, okay? And we still have two more parts of the reunion left. Oh God. Okay. But y'all know first things first, if you have not done so already, to make sure to subscribe to my channels to become a whole JayBird, dun, all that goodness and stuff. Okay, y'all know the link to my JayLee's Corner Talk channel is always in the description box below every single video. Y'all know to do all these things, okay, on the screen right here, liking and commenting and sharing and relaxing, centering yourself and also inhaling and stuff, okay? Because I asked y'all to, okay? But yes, I am here and whatnot. I think I put on wrong color lipstick. I meant to put on my red. This is the pink, okay? But it's always still Fenty Beauty. This is what happens when you're not paying attention to putting on lipstick or whatever. It's a color. But y'all know to follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on everything round here, okay? Yep, subscribe, okay? Quick announcement because of Versus is coming on this Thursday. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. The Thursday after that is another Versus. So the Ladies First panel has updates on what dates we will be live for the next coming weeks. This Wednesday, the 17th, we will be on Bonnie Blue channel. Next Tuesday, the 23rd, will be on my channel. And then the following Wednesday, on December 1st, will be on Jamie That's Me channel. We have also posted this on our social medias. I'm pretty sure it may be on our IG page as well. It should be. If not, Bonnie probably posting tomorrow. But yeah, so again, this Wednesday, on Bonnie's channel, the following week on Tuesday on my channel, then the following week on Wednesday. So again, Versus is on. Thanksgiving. We have things to do. Okay. But y'all know I will be live this Thursday after Versus on my channel. I will be live on my channel on December 2nd after the Versus with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Y'all not go live after every Versus. And because these are two huge Versus, we was like, we can't go live because we all want to watch what's going on. And of course, Thanksgiving, it's Thanksgiving. Anyway, so yeah, but still come through with us, okay, and whatnot. This part two of the reunion, it was entertaining. I don't mind the reunion being 4 parts right now, mainly because it do seem like they're at least getting through information. But I'm just wondering what are the next 2 parts going to be like. And it's like we didn't need Robin here. A scholar wasn't even around West Ham or whatever. I don't know. So everyone is talking about Candiace and hoping she could just admit or acknowledge or just realize as these. Okay, that sometimes she goes too far in her quips back and forth to anyone. Okay, and Candiace feels like, well, everyone has gone too far. Everyone should, has done this or that. Why should I have to spare anyone's feelings because y'all think I go too far? And when Gizelle brings up, oh well, yeah, but no one has gotten to these confrontations or these altercations with other people. Now, when Candiace brings up how, well, Gizelle, you was the one that went with Robin into Ashley's restaurant when it was fussing or whatever, which did happen. And Robin, who ain't got enough to do, but that had nothing to do with Gizelle. It's like, yeah, but Candiace is bringing up how other people have gotten into arguments that were aggressive, and no one is bringing it up now. But I'm like, this is my thing about that. I'm not at all saying Candiace is wrong. I think I was watching DJ Richie Sky last week, and he made a great point. Okay, and his point was sometimes people like to bring up things that happened before. And what people don't realize is in the beginning season on this show, in the beginning, no one was really watching the show. It wasn't on social media that much, but this season and last season has been very popular on TV and also on social media. So things have escalated more recently because of how much attention the show gets. But what I will say is, I think people did comment about that back then. So it's a difference, because for me, I do believe the show was like, I don't remember nothing from season one without much. But everyone know, for at least from season 4, 5, and 6, it's been a clear ratings winner. So things that happened early on did not get that much attention because the show wasn't that popular. So that's a little nod to, that's why this season, and within the past 2 seasons before this, things have gotten much more attention. So Candiace isn't wrong, but it's for a reason. I'll say that. So, but I was like, whatever. And Robin, because I said that about Robin, because Robin also got into an altercation a little bit with Monique and the umbrella outside of whatever restaurant or whatever. So again, no one's saying that nothing has happened. I think more people were saying Candiace is consistently getting into things for one reason or the other. And I keep telling y'all, my issue is not Candiace. I don't want Candiace to not be able to respond to people who she feels like is coming at her. My issue with her is always that she cries victim after whatever happens. She can't handle the scrutiny or the attention that she gets based on her mouth. You can't be big, bald, and bad and want to cry when things happen later on. So for me, it's a catch-22. Okay, Candiace, shoot your shit. Say what you don't say, but stand firm in it, and do not be crying about it. Well, so cut them tears, baby girl. Fuck that napkin. Okay, I'm gonna leave that be. So at the end of the day, of Gizelle and Wendy and Robin, and I think Karen, or just even Andy, trying to get her to just acknowledge a little bit that you can take it back like just one notch. If you had 10 notches, can you come down to 9? Candiace does not want the bush. That's on her. If she does, because I think Andy said, it's like they're giving you like big sister advice. You know what I'm saying? And Candiace just did not want to budge on that. That's on her. If she does not want to accept advice from other people who been on the show longer than her, fine. But again, when you pop your shit, don't be crying after it. Okay, pop your shit and be in this do that and leave it be. But I'm gonna leave that be. So, whatever. And again, a lot of things have been said over the years, over the franchises, across the board. No one is saying that isn't true, but I do not feel that Candiace gets more heat than anybody else. I do not feel she gets bullied. I feel like every castmate has a group of people who do not like them. And depending on where you fall in that realm, you feel like, well, so and so gets more or less heat than so and so else. I'm like, Candiace gets heat, Gizelle gets heat, Mia gets heat. You know what I'm saying? Wendy last season got heat. People actually got heat. I think people like to baby Candiace based on what happened last season. You know what I'm saying? So some people feel protective of her for that reason. And my thing is, they all have a season or a chance to be the villain. They all have these moments of where they get the most heat, attention, and hate for something they have done. So Candiace isn't any different than anyone else. She just likes to cry about the heat she get, where other folks be like, man, whatever. All right, whatever. Candiace focuses on it, and people like to make it seem like, well, no one is mad at Gizelle, well, no one is mad at him. I'm like, people do. I don't like Gizelle. Okay, people are like, what about Mia? Mia gets plenty of hate on social media and on the show. So I'm like, everyone on this show at one point or the other got a backlash. Candiace isn't special. She isn't. This is her time in the fire. Let it be. Okay. Anyway, um, they get on Mia being messy, and Mia admits she was messy on social media. She was posting all kind of things here and there and everywhere, whatever. So the reason I like Mia is because she will acknowledge, yep, I said it, yep, I did it, and people don't like that about her. And I think I said on the panel before, I was like, Mia's issue to me is she talks too much. She gives too much information out. On these kind of shows, when you give out pieces of information, they question every little thing. And if they find one little inkling in your storyline that doesn't match what they think, you're a liar. And I said before, Mia came in being such an open book that when she kept speaking, it was I met my husband, at a strip club. What? Question, 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 question. My example was when Monique joined the show. And when she brought up how they were looking for a home in Potomac, and Gizelle was like, "Oh, you don't have a home?" No, I have 4 homes, and that's where the beef between them started. So Mia, you need to sometimes just shut up. You cannot be this open book with these ladies. Okay, you just can't because they will look for mainly Giselle and Robin, a little bit of Candiace, but Jill and Robin, they will look for things to tear you apart with. So I like the fact that I was a mess on Twitter. I was doing too much, but I did have a media manager who was also doing too much. She was a really close friend of mine. She knew what I knew. She also would say things that I would say. And for me, it was weird that no one believed that she had someone working her social media as if that's not a. Do y'all think Beyonce be at home posting on her IG? No, people do have people who post on their social media. I don't think her point was it was all her because again she admitted I did too much. I absolutely did. I also allowed whoever else to do too much on my platform. I absolutely did. But again, I'm saying it was what it was. But I feel like Candiace does too much on her social media. The issue is Mia tried to pin it on her media manager when she posted on Twitter that day. And today at the reunion, she's like, "Well, no, it was me doing too much or whatever." But I'm like, I don't really care. Now they ask, well, no, Andy even brought up how was Andy? What did he bring up then? No, not yet. But they asked Escada was out there for no real reason, truth be told, because she didn't have much to add, in my opinion. But they asked a question to a scholar about how can you call Mia a classist when you and Candiace kept speaking down on her about her being a stripper in the past. And I felt like a scholar just kind of skeeted on past, you know, the fact that she was doing that. You know what I'm saying? That she landed on how, well, my point was, Mia was always speaking on how much money she made in her businesses. And I'm like, the same way Wendy spoke on her goddamn on degrees in last season. Again, people speak on things that they think matter. And to Wendy, her degrees matter. And it aggravated us so much last season. And I think they probably cut out a lot of Mia speaking directly on her business because I didn't realize she mentioned that as much as Scholar said she did. So I do think they probably cut it out a little bit, but I still felt like a Scholar, you still was being classy. You and Candiace, because there's nothing wrong with being a stripper. But her point was she felt like Mia will use her money and her business acumen to make it seem as if she was better than anybody else. Now, if she did that, shame on Mia, point blank period or whatever. But I like how Andy brought up how he's seen this happen before. It's a new housewife, their first season or whatever, and they just do too much. You know what I'm saying? They just go too far with things or whatever, and that's what it is. It means like, well, yeah, I can. That's what happened with me, and I won't do it again. I just won't give them any of my time or whatever. And then Candiace gonna say, "That's not a friendly, response." And she said, "No, but it's an honest one." And I'm like, "You can't expect me to want to be friendly with you when we beefing. I don't want we beefing right now. Just leave me be or whatever." And then they send a scholar away. I'm like, "Girl, go away." I do want a scholar back next season, but I feel like you need to bring more, and not of you disagreeing with everyone else, and not really taking accountability for you did play a part in being the classist person against Mia as far as the stripping stuff. Okay, not saying that if Mia kept speaking on her business and her money that doesn't go to her too, but I want us to kind of admit that too, but she did not. But again, honey, they went on a break. And when Mia said, "Y'all brought her out for 2 sentences," I was like, "Bitch, not 2 cents." But again, a scholar came out for no reason. Now, we don't know how much else they cut of her talking, but Mia saying that lets me know they didn't cut out much. She wasn't as much. So she was as bad as Robin. ain't saying shit. Now on the breakup, whatever, you see Mia saying that about a scholar. You see Gizelle talking to Candiace and saying how you really need to just acknowledge that at times you can go too far, just in general with anybody, like not with me in particular, you know what I'm saying, or even with whoever in particular, but with this in general, you sometimes can go too far. That if you can just if you can just admit to that part, it can help you, go further in with things or whatever. And I feel like while Giselle is full of shit, I also feel like I don't think that's a bad piece of advice to give to anybody. I think at some point we have to watch our mouths. At some point we do have to edit ourselves, because at some point all that rah rah ain't even cool. But I said that because I keep saying I'm getting older, so crazy five mouth cuss a person out daily. I don't do some. I gotta calm that on down. Okay, if I want to interview Michelle Obama, I can't be cussing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't see an issue with them saying, Candiace, you don't have to say that you're wrong, but you can acknowledge that, sometimes maybe I can dial it back a little bit. There's nothing wrong with accepting that piece of advice from Gizelle, who you think is your friend, but I'm gonna leave that be. But again, she does not have to say she's wrong. Okay? Candiace can be Candiace, but I just wish sometimes she would have shut the fuck up and stop crying. But I'm gonna leave that be too. Now, when Wendy goes to talk to Candiace in her room or whatever, it's like I will always support you. I will always support you, Candiace. Okay, but your gutter reads is like hell to everyone else. And Candiace said, "Look, I can admit I'm a bitch, okay, and my responses are harsh, but people should leave me alone." And I don't agree with that. I feel like people gonna fuck with you. They are, and you don't always have to go straight to the jugular for that. You should have levels sometime when you're on this type of show, just so that no one can keep painting you in a certain picture. Like at some point, you want to get move past people feeling like you want, you know what I'm saying, you're a kid having a tantrum. You should want to not have that same stigma. And a part of me feel like Candiace likes that stigma. I don't know why, but that's on her. So they then get to Karen versus Gizelle, okay? But first of all, I need y'all to like the video because I need some water. See, just some water. So Karen versus Gizelle. Now, Karen, they was bringing up how Karen was the one saying that Gizelle wanted to sing. She got a hot box and these things or whatever. And Karen said, "Well, look, I just said sing because I thought it sounded good or whatever." But she also brings up for her, she was really just repeating things that she had heard in the blogs about Gizelle. And this is the thing about Karen and Gizelle. I said look, Karen and Gizelle will be fussing and cussing back and forth with each other for years to come. I feel like they do fuss the best. And I agree with them saying how we go back and forth, yes, but it's usually in a funny way and not too deep way. Even if I said her cooch is on fire, she got STD. Um, because Giselle didn't care. That was the thing about it. So I get it. Okay, I get it. But they also say some harsh things to each other, but they don't say it in a harsh way. And that's they bring up how Candiace sticks her landing. She says it in a way that makes it seem worse than what it is. Okay. But I'm like, whatever. Now Giselle brings up how for her, you was acting like you was upset about, the thing about Ray, but you really was. Like, that I did not wish death on Ray, okay? And that's what it is, whatever. And when Karen asked, what if I said the same thing about your daddy? And said, how would you feel then? I would have known that you didn't mean it that way. You could have brought it up season 3 and 4, not bringing it up now. Karen's excuse that, it's because my kid. Karen kids, I think her daughter was at the time 19. They weren't kids. Now, I do feel like her daughter could have been hurt, but like Gizelle said. If she was hurt, why did you not bring it up seasons ago? Girl, bull of the shits. Okay, bull of the shit. I feel like that whole back and forth thing about, oh, you were there, definitely right. I was like, she didn't, but I got why Karen was pissed off. But y'all did not need to, neither one of y'all should have harped on it how y'all did. I'm gonna leave that be too. Now, Wendy brings up, no, they asked Wendy about the hypocrisy of, Gizelle wanted an apology from Karen about repeating rumors about Jamal or whatever when she was the one spreading information about Eddie. And Gizelle, like, look, I was not spreading rumors about Eddie. That's not what I did or whatever. Yes, you did. You wanted everybody else to set me about what you heard or whatever. And you were, speaking about rumors about my husband when Karen was speaking about facts with actual proof about what Jamal was doing. And I'm like, that the binder had all the truth, whatever. And so when Wendy and both Gizelle went into how we have, I have children gonna read who can read this or whatever, I'm like, I feel like Wendy's kids are so young, they will read about this stuff later in life. Whereas Gizelle daughters are constantly reading about mama's shit and her daddy's shit. So I do think her kids are older and will see it more or before Wendy's kids. But Giselle's point was, I never, said I believe it. And I'm like, but you kept repeating it though, Giselle. You're on bullshit. It's weird how Giselle is trying to put it in a box of, well, I wasn't repeating the rumor. I didn't start it. I was saying that I wanted to make sure, how you're doing, whatever. I was the one standing up for your kid's dad because I was saying I did not believe it. And I was like, girl, bye, okay. And the whole thing was, anyone could have a blog that says this, that, or the other, or whatever. Anyone can, make up a story or whatever, and it travels very, very far. But I'm like, y'all fussing about a rumor about Eddie and some truth about Jamal. Either way go, it was stuff out in the atmosphere. And this is what happens on these shows. People gonna make up shit or talk about things. Leave it be or whatever. Now, we then see unseen footage of Karen and Gizelle at the Wendy's event fussing, where Karen is calling Gizelle an alcoholic and drug addict. And so we're like, Karen, how can we trust what she says? She's out here, making these false statements or whatever. And now that's on both Karen and Gizelle bring up how, well, we go back and forth, okay? And this is an example of how two people can fuss back and forth, but not want to fight, not want to, take it to that level, whatever. And I'm saying, it does not have to be an aggressive fight between the people. And while I feel like Candiace will never accept anyone's advice on that situation, she will never accept anyone's advice who's telling her, maybe calm down. She just doesn't even want to hear that shit. Leave me alone or whatever. At this point in time, we see Karen and Gizelle hug it out. I was like, girl, I'm tired of them. But they hugged it out. I think Gizelle squeezed Karen's butt or vice versa, whatever. And they both kind of get, you're nice to my kids. You could be mean, but you're not. I'm like, why y'all crying? Or act, I don't know. And when they said, Gizelle, we've never seen you be emoted. She's not. Gizelle is faking it. Okay, you can't look. Look at his face. She's faking it. Her wig is faking it. The outfit is faking it. It's all fake. Okay, Gizelle, you cannot convince me that you feel so emotionally connected to Karen because, when she hugged my daughter, she never treated them any other way, even though we were beefing. I'm like, she don't have no reason to. So for that reason, they are not friends again until the season begins and they start hating each other again. Now we get to Ashley and Candiace. I think I have fun for them, or whatever. And I'm like, why are we having Ashley versus Candiace? Um, they asked her about body shaming Ashley, okay, but they also mentioned that Ashley, how Michael did the same thing. Candiace called you wild body or whatever, but in the car, Michael was saying things about your body too, and I believe when the episode aired, I felt the same. I can't believe he said that. But I can appreciate her explanation, even if it's complete bullshit. Okay. Her point was like, Candiace, be saying shit to be hurtful. That's what she do, whatever. So she can she said, I'm gonna need that bob to start weaving. Okay, because again, you be on bullshit. I was like, not the bob start weaving. Um, but she said, with my husband, what I'm saying, look, I talked to my husband about my body, about what I want to do, how I want to get in shape, and things like that. So he was commenting on things that we talked about as husband and wife. Now, while what he said and how he said it seemed extremely insensitive, I can also understand if they had conversations and she told him that she's, I think I'm fat, I think I'm not losing weight, I think I'm like whatever. He's saying to her, well, no, you don't look that way. I can get it, but I'm like, is she saying that to save face for her husband? We would never know why, because Michael's not here. But again, that was her thing about that, and I can agree. Candiace do say things to be hurtful versus saying things to be funny. To me, that's a difference. But again, she don't like athletes, so what do we expect? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Now, when they trying to say to Candiace, girl, look, you called her wide body, you were commenting on her breasts, as she was breastfeeding her kids or whatever. Are you jealous of her as a mom? Yes, I am so jealous of her, and I'm like, here we go. Um, Candiace, like, look, I said what I said. I don't care. I will never ever say sorry, because even if I have kids and even if I go through what she went through, I will still never say sorry. And again, Candiace likes to stick to what she say. Fine. The thing about that is, if you are going to stick to things you said about someone who had just gave birth, you have to also deal with moms and people who feel like you went too far. That's what it is. You can't say, well, so and so said this. We don't mind what you said, because we've already addressed things that other folks have said. Candiace likes to say things and then draw a correlation between what she said versus what somebody else said 4 seasons ago. Well, she said, season one, that Sharice has saggy titties, and asked me, so I did not, and I have saggy titties. I'm not going to do breast and things, but again, Candiace does not see it for herself ever saying sorry or taking something back. That's on her. But again, you have to deal with the backlash of you not wanting to accept, maybe I should not do or say all the things that aggravate all the people. But again, that's on her. I was like, girl, get my face. Um, we get to, oh, honey, Candiace, get on the girl. Candiace then said how, well, Ashley called my hair dry. And as a black woman, I can't believe she'll call my hair dry, because I'm saying, it's a colorist comment, because she's lighter skinned with a different texture curly hair. And I when asked, my hair get dry too. So does mine. You have to keep it moisturized. I felt like after we was talking about Candiace's wigs. Candiace's wigs look dry. Now if that's her hair, get your stylist. Okay. However, I do not look. I've seen Abby's hair be dry too. I've seen her with not the shines of the hair, whatever. So just because someone is fair skinned does not make their hair any less hard to manage. Um, no matter our skin tone in our community, we all sometimes have to deal with our hair textures. And I don't think Abby has the best natural hair texture to where Candiace can say, well, she has an easier texture to deal with, and her hair doesn't get dry. It does. We've seen her have dry, curly hair. Who cares? Um, Now they asked her if she feel like Ashley. She feels like, I'm saying, it's colorist things. She's like, I call bullshit. Ashley's call bullshit. Whatever. I have never denied that lighter skin privilege or white privilege is not a thing. However, when it becomes between me and you, Candiace, you always make it about our skin tone. I don't like that either. I feel like to blame discourse between two individuals strictly based on their skin tones is complete bullshit, because we've also seen two fair skinned women not get along. We've also seen two darker toned women not go along. It's like it's not as if there's an issue because Candiace happens to be a browner skinned girl and Ashley happens to be a lighter skinned girl. They don't like each other regardless of their skin tone. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to get to a point that if a lighter skinned black person and a darker skinned black person has an issue, that it doesn't have to be, it's based on their skin tone. Yes, there's colorism issues in the world. Yes, there are people who are lighter skinned or darker skinned who have whatever thought process based on the skin tone. That is an absolute fact. It does not have to be an absolute fact that every time there's a issue between the two, it's strictly because of a colorist issue. That's my opinion. Um, but Wendy asked a good question. Do you feel like as there's colorism in this group on this show? And she said no. Um, she said, I feel like outside people take their perception of society and they try to project that into what's happening here. And I can agree. I do. When I watched this show, I said that people watch this show and they were blind. Would they then say, "Oh, it's because she's darker skin"? It's because no, we see something and we put something on it. You know what I'm saying? And there has been absolute colorist moments. Yes, I don't think there is a huge colorism issue all the time on this show. I think it's in specks and it's here and there. But I also can agree that outside people can make it seem like it's the dominant issue. The reason Ashley and the reason kind of Candiace get along is because of their skin tone. That's what I do not agree with. I do not agree with that's the main reason. So I wish she would have not said that she doesn't feel like it's any in here, but I can get her saying, people is putting that on us as if it's the prevalent thing, and it isn't, and that's my opinion. Um, and then we have the other thing, but again, we know it exists. No one is denying that it exists. I think it aggravates me when people have to make that be the main reason, and that's what I mean by that. Candiace and how people try to project on her that she is this mean person. I'm like, no, you are. And when Addie brings up, you refer to me as a slave. You know what I'm saying? You really you refer to me as a slave based on calling my husband an overseer. And I feel like Candiace is like, I didn't know that. Well, you did. You implied it. Um, but again, she never to me wants to acknowledge a part she's played in what is going on. And when she brings up how when you create your husband, talk about my husband, and as you said, two white men fussing is who cares? It's one white man calling another white man white trash. Who cares? But you calling me a slave is different to me. Okay, it's dumb. And when Candiace told Ashley, girl, get your check another way. I got my check before you set your ass down. I'm like, okay, her check was written first. She had a check or whatever. But I'm like, everyone, I wonder if Chris was rich, if he was a rich white man, how would Candiace act if someone said, you fucking that man for money? Get your money some other kind of way. Who cares if Ashley fucked her way to be comfortable financially? People do it every day. Be Chris fucked you to be. Stop. Anyway, they fussing back and forth. Okay, Candiace's whole thing was I can't get over the whole Monique statement. I'm not. Look, I am so sick and tired of Candiace or anybody bringing up anything from last season. And I stand firm in saying this. Ashley was not wrong for writing a character statement based on what she went through with Candiace to help Monique not go to jail. She did not lie about what happened. She just said what had happened with her. I don't care. But to make it seem like, oh my God, you were this victim. So what? So look, it's dumb to keep going back to that. Why would you think that Monique would not try to not go to jail? Why would you think that? Why? So I really want them to stop bringing up anything from last season because it perpetuates a consistent fight that I'm tired of having. Okay, get over it. If you want folks to get over what you say and how you respond to people, you need to get over that last season you sued someone and they got character statements from folks who you did shit to. Leave it be, okay? At the end of the day, and she said she's also still mad that Ashley is still friends with Wendy. Bitch, what, girl? Ugh, I don't care, okay? They get on Wendy. I want to pop off screen. They get on Wendy, who admits that she had a breast lift. She had implants on her boobs. She also had lipo in the BBL. She brings attention to the fact that a lot of people um, have these surgeries or whatever, and then they end up dying. So again, she wanted to touch on that. I don't really care about that or whatever. The whole thing about Gizelle and Robin pleasing her body. Robin, like, we had no issue with her new body, but she was just acting different. Now Andy also says how he also felt like, saying on episode 1, she did seem different, and she seemed different from last season. It was weird to me that she wasn't pissed that Andy noticed it too. The fans did, okay? And Wendy said, look, I felt like their delivery was off. How we never had a conversation about it. And when Robin said, well, no, we did, in that trip or whatever. Now, Robin admits that for her, she did use the wrong words when she said Wendy seemed loose on the show. And I agree, that was the wrong goddamn word. But when this is my thing. When Robin then said, I meant, she was just less reserved. I just used the wrong word. I was like, had she said in the moment, you seem less reserved, Wendy. Had she said that, I would have completely got it. But Robin ain't smart. She don't use the right words all the time. So again, I got what she meant once she explained it. But again, the damage had been done based on things they were saying behind the cameras, in the confession or whatever. They said other things beside that one thing to prove but you were still meaning other shit because you kept saying other shit or whatever. I mean, maybe. Because again, it is what it is. The whole candle thing. Okay, Wendy got candles, Karen got candles, Leah had candles too, whatever. I was like, girl, Wendy said she now has 5 and 7 wick candles on her website, and she did. She has a 4 wick candle for $129, a 5 wick candle for $20, and a 7 wick candle. It wasn't a price on it; it said it was sold out. I'm like, whatever. But again, a girl, I'm not bad with these candles. They get on the Eddie room or whatever, and they like we all have had rumors or whatever. They bring up how it was from a blog that was not credible. We all know that blog was mainly Monica from All About the Tea. And Wendy, like, if why would you bring that rumor onto the show if you felt like it wasn't true? You brought it here knowing it was bullshit. And so Gizelle bullshit you. So I was trying to check on you. I wanted to check on you to see if you was okay. Bullshit. It said because you was the first one saying that I may have gotten my body done to compensate for the rumor about my husband, which is bullshit. You had a whole tummy tuck. Did you keep Jamal? I'm like, oh my God. Not a tummy tuck that did not keep Jamal. No one can keep Jamal, not even Jamal. Girl, I was like, a tummy tuck and did not keep. Girl, I was like, Wendy, no. But that was basically the whole reunion. I am tired now. I did not mean to go this long, but I want y'all to comment in the comment section how y'all feel. I will talk to y'all later. Gotta go. Peace.